Record. So thank you guys for jumping on. This is Brittany, so I'm super excited for her to talk to us. Brittany, I'm just going to let you introduce yourself, give the full introduction, and jump right into your stuff because I want to give you the floor. I am going to everyone else. 1 second. And then I will come back and unmute Brittany.
Excellent.
Okay, so we are recording, and Brittany, this is Team Exceed the Dream and a little bit of our upline team as well. And so if you guys want to show your faces, you can, so Brittany can see you. And then go ahead, Brittany, and take the floor.
Excellent. I would love to see your faces. Okay, I've been a coach for 2.5 years, and doing these calls still makes me like pee my pants nervous. So like I feel like so much of a better like writer than I am a speaker, and especially now that I have chemo brain, it's like all over the place. So I have my notes to share with you guys. So if I'm like flipping through here, like just don't mind me. But I don't know. I'm super excited to be on this call with you guys. Today was one of those days where I just felt like, I'm like, man, I'm freaking playing challenge pack, signing your coaches, having such a good day. Whereas yesterday I was like, oh my gosh, I suck at this. So I'm really excited I'm leading the call today because I'm in a much better like headspace for you guys and pumped about this and pumped to share with you guys. I don't know how y'all normally do calls or anything, but I don't have like slides or anything like that to share with y'all. Okay, good, because I'm usually in Success Club 10 by like the 5th, and I was on the struggle bus this month and just now hit it today. And I was at the hospital all last week at MD Anderson Cancer Center. I'll tell you a little bit more about my story in just a minute. And so I didn't make any slides or anything like that, but yeah, I'm super excited to share with you guys. Like I said, I've been a coach for about 2.5 years. I am currently ranked as a 1-star diamond coach, but I've mentored 4 diamonds. I just have really bad like placement judgment and have put them all on my left leg. So I'm really like strong leg heavy over here. But I've always been into fitness. I was a CrossFitter. I ran half marathons and all that. And I met my coach in Mexico on our honeymoon. And we stayed friends ever since then. And about 2 years later, she was like, girl, you need to be a coach with me. And I was like, Maggie, I don't want to do your sketchy, weird scam shake thing. Like, I love you, but I'm not going to do it. And she's like, oh my gosh, it is not that. And so for about 5 months, she followed up with me. And finally, like, I kept talking about it to my husband, and he was like, Brittany, you keep talking about this, just effing do it. Like, either do it or stop talking about it. I was like, okay, fine. So we were super broke at the time, living off of my one teacher salary. I used to be an elementary teacher. And of course, I accidentally buy the most expensive challenge pack. Not knowing it, I bought T25 because I told Maggie, I said, whatever you just got your most recent results, I want to do that because you look freaking awesome. And so I bought the most expensive one, and I was like, we really can't afford this. We don't have 2 pennies to rub together. So if I'm going to do this, I really have to make it worth my while. I signed up as a coach, did my first accountability group with Maggie, and then immediately started coaching my own and made like, I want to say it was like 3 or 4 times my investment in my first month, and have just been running with it ever since. And I freaking love this company, you guys. And I'm about to tell you my story and why even now I believe in it even more. Like, I want you guys to feel so freaking proud that you are here right now, that you are showing up to your business, that you are doing this, that you are a part of this team, with Emily. Like, I don't know Emily super well, but how much, like, the little bit that we've talked so far, like, you guys hit the jackpot with this coach. She is awesome. So I hope that y'all give her, I'm making her like blush super hardcore. I hope I'm making you like sweaty and weird, but but seriously, she is awesome. But anyways, I just wanted to hop on here and tell you my story and why I believe in this so dang much, and how I use that as fuel to invite now. And like I said, I'm a much better writer than I am speaker. And so the chemo brain thing, just like roll with it. If I like squirrel and forget things, just pretend like that didn't happen and like nod and smile and make me feel super great about it. So, okay, so first, I want you guys to go to a place with me, to a mindset place. And I want you to think about, who were you before Beachbody? Like, I don't know how long you guys have been coaches. I don't know why you signed up in the first place, but I want you to go back to that first bit when your first coach or your coach first invited you. Who were you then? How did you feel? What were those reasons you joined in the first place? And then I want you to imagine if your coach never ever invited you. Like, think about what your life would look like today if this whole thing, fitness, business, all of that didn't happen. Like, kind of scary, right? Like what would you feel like? Who would you be? Where would you be? You sure as heck wouldn't be on a call with some like weird, slightly bald lady on Tuesday night. Like, I want you to think about what would today have looked like without that. And to me, you guys, honestly, that scares the crap out of me. Like, it, and I don't mean to get like all like heavy and intense, but really my story is very heavy and intense. And that's just the reality of it. And I'm going to share with you guys of the story behind this wicked, awesome, super expensive haircut. Okay. So last fall, I became a coach in January 2015. And so like 2.5 years ago, and I was rocking it, finally had like 6-pack abs for the first time in my life. Like, I had like jacked arms for the first time, and like just feeling super good about myself. I was eating healthy. I wasn't like, you know that meme where it says like, you can make any pizza a personal size pizza if you believe in yourself and work hard enough? Yeah, that was my life before Beachbody. Like, it was not good. And then ice cream after that. But I was like, Beachbody made me like eat healthy and feel great. And I was in the best shape of my life. And this time last year, the beginning of September, my husband and I went on a little trip, and we had wine and pizza. And I remember I woke up the next morning and I was like, oh my gosh, I am so hungover. Like, this is not okay. And I was embarrassed. I didn't want to tell him. I'm like, I legit only had 2 glasses of wine. Like, why am I so hungover? And you guys, that feeling never left. Like, thanks. Love the nail color, right? But the feeling never left. I attribute it to just eating crap that weekend. I was like, man, I guess my body really doesn't know how to handle that anymore. And so like I went to the doctor, several doctors. One put his hand on my knee and said, sweetheart, you're just stressed, and I just called you in a Xanax prescription, and you just need to take that. And I was like, no, I'm stressed because I don't feel good, and you're not figuring it out. So to make a really long story short, I went to 12 different doctors all last fall. I was told I was just stressed. I was told I just had anxiety. I was told that I could possibly have celiac. I was told I was allergic to dairy. What else? Crohn's. Oh, one of them thought I just had a dislocated rib because a lot of my pain was like right here. And they thought I had something wrong with my gallbladder, like all sorts of different stuff. Like, you name it, they thought I had it. But yet they couldn't find really anything wrong. I was poked, prodded, stabbed with needles, scanned, blood work, everything, and they couldn't come up with anything. And then come around November, I started getting really, really sick. Like, laying on the bathroom floor, crying in pain, puking my guts out sick, and nobody can figure it out. And I kept pushing for answers. I was like, something is not right. Something is not right. Like, I am literally drinking Pepto-Bismol because my stomach hurt. So like I had such bad indigestion and all this like heartburn and stuff. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like what am I doing wrong? But I knew I was eating healthy. I knew I was in the best shape of my life. I knew something was wrong. And December 14th, and I'm going to try not to cry. I'm not like a super emotional person, but this makes me cry every time. But December 14th, 2016, I was told I have cancer. And that's after 2 weeks. I was a week in the hospital. They sent me home because I didn't know what was wrong. I was kind of okay. I was hyped up on all sorts of pain meds. And they sent me home. I went back to my GI doctor 2 days later, puking in his office. And he was like, okay, we're putting you back in the hospital. There's something obviously wrong. And I'm like, no crap. And 2 weeks later, I held the hand of my third GI doctor as he told me that you have ovarian cancer, which I hope, I pray none of you ever hear those words in your life. And I hope that no one you love, no one you care about ever hears those words, ever. And at 27, honestly, like I just felt such a huge sigh of relief when I was told that. So weird to say that, and I know you're like, what the heck, you just got told you have cancer and you're relieved. Think about it. I had gone September to December feeling like junk with no answers. I had no idea why I felt so bad. I'm like, I'm literally doing everything right. Why do I feel like crap? And I 2 days later, I had surgery. I had a full hysterectomy and exploratory surgery, like all the way up in my abdomen. Like I have a scar from here all the way down. It's like a foot long. You know, those six-pack abs I had sliced right through. And normally people have to wait 3 weeks from surgery to the start of chemo because you have to like build up strength again for them to be able to like basically kill your body with chemo. And because I started off strong enough, they pushed me to start a really aggressive chemo regimen 5 days later. I was still in the hospital at that point. I was getting fed through a tube. I don't know if y'all can see it, my scar right here. So I had a tube that went up my arm, down into here, that they fed me. This is totally not related to what we're talking about, but I'm going to tell you this anyways. So they would bring me like the bag of stuff and I would pretend like what it was because I hadn't eaten in like 14 days. And I would be like, okay, that's nasty Taco Bell tacos. Oh yeah. Like for some reason, that's what sounded good in the hospital. I was like, what the heck? But anyways, so I remained in the hospital for a while. I got my first couple chemo treatments in there. And I think it was like 4 weeks later, I finally came home from the hospital because I was finally able to eat on my own. And I weighed 99 pounds. Like, yeah, I'm short. I'm 5'2.5". I'm going to tell everybody I'm 5'3". But 99 pounds is not okay. Like, it was terrible. But I don't know. And I'm kind of getting a little scattered about my story right now, but I have, or had, because I kicked its butt, I've had stage 3C ovarian cancer, which is right before it becomes stage 4. One, people don't live through stage 3 ovarian cancer. Stage 4, definitely not. And had I not pushed the doctors for answers, had I not kept going to the doctors knowing there was something wrong with my body, I don't know that I would be here today, you guys. Like, I don't know that I would be sitting here talking to y'all. Like, I'm really not sure I'd still be here if God didn't use Beachbody to change my life and change my habits and get me so in tune with my body that I knew to push for answers. And to get me strong enough to fight, like to start chemo early and to be able to do that, like that's just not what happens. And I'm going to tell you, like there were moments in the hospital where I would be laying there and going to sleep, not sure if I was going to wake up the next morning. That's how sick I was. But because I started off so strong, I made it. I fought like hell for 24 straight weeks, and I made it, you guys. Like, I am so thankful God used Beachbody in my life in that way. Like, I can't imagine without it. I had both slow growing and aggressive. So it's called mixed grade. So high grade cancer, it grows really fast, is aggressive, attacks your body really fast. And then, the slow growing stuff is just like there. And my original appointment was January 18th. I was diagnosed a month before my original appointment just to like get like a colonoscopy and stuff to figure out what was wrong, because all my symptoms were GI related. And if you don't know the symptoms for ovarian cancer, please go look it up and tell all of your girlfriends just for like in the future. And so I just cannot reiterate enough that like I'm so glad I had Beachbody to teach me what it did to be able to push for those answers. All right, let me get refocused on my notes here. Okay, and back to the like business part of this. So I quit teaching last year. So like last school year was my first full year of full-time Beachbody coaching. And a lot of people think I quit teaching because I got sick, but I'm like, no, I quit like long before that happened. And that just happened to be like, God set me up so well to be able to fight this as best I could, like working from home, anywhere with Wi-Fi I wanted to, my hospital bed, like all of that. And honestly, like I kept working through all of that when I was like off of such intense pain meds. I was definitely not sending messages on Dilaudid, like, but it was such a great distraction through all this crappiness, through all the chemo crappiness, making me feel like junk. Like it kept giving me a reason to like get up in the morning, fired up, like putting a smile on my face, even if I felt like poop, like, and I cannot imagine if I would have had to quit teaching without this other income. Like, it was my income that pays our mortgage. I cannot imagine not having that and being so financially stressed. And I will tell you, cancer is freaking expensive. And because of this, we are 100% debt free besides our mortgage. That's all we pay a month. Like our cars are paid off, our medical bills are paid off, our student loans are paid off because of this business, because I've worked my butt off and because I've been consistent. I've only ever missed 1 month in Success Club 10, and that was the month I was in the hospital in December and I hit Success Club 7. I will tell you the power of consistency and showing up and sticking with it long term. Like if you're sitting here and you're a brand new coach and you're like, oh, I can never do that. Yes, you can. Start with this month. Hit Success Club this month, even if you're sitting at 0 right now. Okay, because you never know when you will need that blessing in the future. Like, what if I would have had to quit teaching because I was a PE coach. There was no way I could have been around 630 kids going through chemo, because chemo kills your white blood cells, which means if you get sick, it's life-threatening. So I couldn't be around kids. And had I had to quit that job, that would have been my husband. And my husband loves his job, but it's not super high paying. He works for the city. It would not pay our mortgage. So I am so, so thankful for this. So when you invite, like, I want to like kind of take my story back into inviting. You never know when you are going to save someone's life. Like Maggie had no idea. She just thought I'd have fun coaching and wanted to do it with me because we were like pretty much best friends anyways, and just wanted to invite me to do this with her. She knew I was already super into fitness. Little did she know she would save my life. Okay, and maybe, hopefully, they will never, ever have cancer. Like most people we talk to, they'll never, ever get cancer. Like, don't worry about that. But what about when you change the trajectory of their life? Like, save their marriage in the future. Save them from having diabetes in the future, or save them from, like when they have kids, they're out there playing with their kids instead of sitting on the bench, like watching their kid go down the slide, wishing that they had the energy to play with them. Like, you are affecting so many people's lives when you invite somebody and get them to do this with you. And I want you to remember that. and think about my story. If you're ever like, oh, I don't know if I want to invite, this is scary, they might say no, what are they going to think of me? Think of my story, please. Do it for me. Like, I know y'all don't know me, but do it, okay? Because I invite, because I cannot bear the thought of someone fighting for their life or their marriage or whatever it may be, and knowing I didn't do what I could to help them. Okay, of course, it is on them to say yes or no. And guys, I get a lot of no's. Don't think I'm some like magical unicorn that gets all the yeses. Like, I still have to bust my butt for those yeses, but I have the control of if I put it out there, if I extend the helping hands. Okay, and when you invite, you're planting a seed. Like, I don't know if any of you were at Summit 2 years ago, but we were in the room of like, you know, a bazillion people. I don't know how many people are in there, but I think it was like 6,000. And whoever the speaker was like, okay, if you said yes the first time your coach invited you, raise your hand. And out of 6,000 people, I think it was like 6 or 7 raised their hand. And then all of us are over here like, nobody will say yes. It's like, nobody says yes the first time. My coach had to follow up with me 5 times before I said yes, okay? So know that you're planting the seed, because, you know, in 4 months down the road, maybe they might realize, oh my gosh, my marriage is crumbling. Like, and it's because I have a lack of confidence in myself. I don't like who I am, and that affects a marriage big time. But if they make those changes in their own life because of you, and they know who to turn to, they're like, oh, Michelle invited me to this. Like, I know how to make these changes. I know she can help me. You might save that marriage because of that. Okay. And I don't mean to like put so much pressure on your shoulders and all that, but I just want you to remember this. Like, remember it when you're scared to invite, you know. We all have fears. Like I said, even 2.5 years into this business, I have my fears. Leading calls like this, like I said, scares the crap out of me and makes me want to pee my pants. Okay. And I still like find myself sometimes scared of doing stuff like inviting, because I'm scared, like, well, what if they think that I'm just like trying to sell them something and like one of those weird people? But if you truly build a relationship, if you add value to their life, like through your posts or through like, hey, I was listening to this podcast, like thought of you, thought you might like it, and send it to them. If you post consistently, let me tell you about posting really quick. So if you post consistently and use Instagram stories, those people who are watching you kind of get to know you, and it's kind of like a one-way relationship, and it's how you build trust. Okay? Like, when you start talking to them, it's not like you're having to like explain who you are and have them get to know you. They already know you because you're so dadgum consistent in posting. They hear your heart, they hear your message, and they're not going to think that you're some weird spammy person, okay, because of the way you post. So if you are not posting daily, and if you are not using Instagram and Instagram stories, change that right now. Even if you're like, I don't know how to use that, go figure it out, okay? It's fun. Like, just document your day doing it. I do really stupid stuff on there, so follow me if you want to. I don't know. I don't think I'm that interesting, but I don't know. But really, just rip the Band-Aid off and do it in terms of inviting. Like, stop being scared about it, okay? What I tell my team all the time, I'm like, yeah, you're scared, feel the fear and do it anyways. You know, it gets easier the longer you do it. And I promise you, inviting somebody to this and changing their life with it, far easier than watching them suffer later in their life, okay? Watching them fight for their life, watching them file for divorce, watching them miss out on life things with their kids. It's far easier to invite them, I promise you, okay? Are y'all with me so far? I'm almost done rambling at y'all. And another big thing I tell my team that I wanted to share with y'all is that confidence comes from action, okay? There's none of this like, oh, I'm gonna start small and see how it goes. Like, no, take massive action, go send 20 invites, like just go get it done, and that's how you're going to get over your fear of doing it, okay? The more you do it, the better you're gonna get at it, the more you're gonna feel your, like, groove with it. Think about walking. Like, a 3-year-old is a whole lot less confident at walking than we are in our like 20s, 30s, 40s. I don't know how old everybody is, but because of the repetition. We have so much more repetition and confidence in that repetition because we've walked so much. Like, I remember since I was in the hospital for 6 weeks and I was super weak, I had no muscle on my legs. And I remember getting out of the hospital bed for the first time and having a death grip on my husband's arms because I hadn't had that repetition of making those steps, of walking and building that muscle and building that strength and having the confidence in myself not to fall. Okay, but the more I did it, the better I got at it, the more confident I got at it. And this is kind of like an out there example, but it's the same thing with this. Okay, you've got to build up those like inviting baby legs. I don't know, that was really weird example, but just roll with it, y'all. Yeah, and really like that brings me to the end of what I was going to share with y'all. I really just wanted to, I don't even know what time it is or if I said it like all way too fast. But I did want to leave some time for like questions and all that if you had any. And I also have an action item for you guys. And I'll say that and then we'll open it up for questions. Cool? Okay, so I'm going to have Emily start a thread in y'all's team page. And I want y'all to post why you are scared of inviting, like what makes you nervous when you go invite, and why you are ripping the Band-Aid off, getting over it, and just doing it, okay? And I'm going to have her, like, send me screenshots of it or something because I want to see it. All right. Do y'all have any questions?
I loved it. Thank you, Brittany. Something I wanted to add to, because I have like stopped Brittany's story from the moment, like, I think I followed you before you got sick. And then once you did, I was like constantly looking for updates and just like sending her prayers and everything. But so I've read a lot of your posts, but one of the things too that she mentioned was because you had the freedom of your time in this business, like you were able to go to those doctor's appointments and like schedule the doctor's appointments and figure out, like, I don't know if you want to share about that some, but just like to me that was huge because I mean sometimes I post like, oh, I got my hair cut today when I normally would have been working, but like that's nothing compared to being able to take the time that you needed to figure out what was wrong and like getting those answers more quickly. And I mean, not everyone has goals of going full time, but just the fact that you had the freedom and flexibility to do that like really hit me hard when I saw you share that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad you brought that up. I actually had that in my notes somewhere and then I got like all distracted. But yeah, as a teacher, like, I don't know if any of y'all are teachers, but it is literally an act of Congress to get off of work. And I had doctors being like, I need you for a CT tomorrow. I need you to go do this right now, or I need to do this like this week. Because they knew something was seriously wrong, obviously. Like, I'm laying on my bathroom floor, like puking. That's not okay. But as a teacher, like, I could not have gotten into the doctors when I needed to. I would have had to stress out about taking time off, getting a sub, writing sub plans, worrying about my kids. I would like, when I would get a sub before, I'd be like, oh my gosh, are they okay? Or like, are they like eating the sub's lunch? Like, that's not okay either. But just being able to have that time freedom that I didn't know I would need. Like, I thought it was just going to be cool that I would be able to like lay out in my bikini in my backyard like anytime I wanted to. I didn't know how important that time freedom was. And you guys, like, I'm going to be able to travel more because of this now that I'm like done with chemo and all of that. Like, now my husband and I have so much more freedom because of this. And you don't necessarily like have to want to be a full-time Beachbody coach. Like, and that's not for everybody. Okay. It is for me. I freaking love it, but it's not for everybody. But think of the like financial freedom that can come from it. Think of the time freedom that you can take days off of work, even if they like dock your pay because you don't care because you're making a paycheck every Thursday from this. Like, it doesn't matter. You can go on that stupid shopping spree to Target where we all go drop like $300 when we went in for toothpaste. Like, think of the blessings that can come from this just from your consistency, you know? Like, it's crazy to me what this can do. It's amazing.
And then too, I wanted to share, Brittany's probably too humble to say this, but look at her posts, because everything that you've been through, like, she is just the most positive and like inspirational person that I've ever seen. And like going through the worst part of your life, but still with this faith and still with this, like, you showed up every day. Like, you still showed up. You shared your journey. And it reminds me of the quote of like, be the light in the darkness. Like, even when you're going through something so horrible, she could have sat there and been like, oh, poor me, poor me. But this girl was still like, I freaking told her once, like, I'm praying for you. And she's like, you're amazing. And like all this stuff about me. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, she is.
'Cause you are.
But she's just like and has the strongest faith and the most positive, inspirational person. And I'm sure that played so much into your recovery and to being strong and having that like faith. And like you said, this business gave you something positive to think about. And I'm sure like your team has, like, I'm sure you had such a supportive community around you and people supporting you, and just everyone, and Beachbody in general. Like, it just goes to show, like, you went through all of that and you were still working, you were still showing up, you were still being a light in someone else's life when you could have completely shut down and not had that faith and not had that positive energy to put out to the world. So I just wanted to commend you on that, because like that is huge, and like I look up to you so much for that. So does anyone want to ask Brittany any questions about her story or about the business or anything really, or just you can unmute yourself and tell her thank you, even, because she did amazing.
You're making me blush and like sweaty and weird over here. Just saying.
Does anyone want unmuted? Do I have to unmute you? I'm just going to unmute all of you, and you can all yell thank you then, because you're so good. Okay.
Y'all are so sweet.
Thank you.
Of course. I'm so happy to do this for you guys. And I will tell you, part of my attitude, like before Beachbody, I was totally not like this. Like,
Me either.
I wasn't necessarily a Debbie Downer, but I definitely wasn't this positive. Do PD like all the time. Read stuff, listen to stuff, like do your Bible study, do like whatever. I don't know if you're a Christian or not, but like whatever you do, like do personal development. It changes everything. Like don't skip that, okay? It set me up for such a better fight, like and just able to be positive through this and look for that silver lining even when I didn't know if I was going to still be alive come August. Like it makes that big of a difference. So I encourage you guys to do that. But thank y'all for letting me be here and hang out with you guys. Y'all are so cute.
Thank you so much. Okay, everyone smile. We'll take an Instagram story picture. Thank you, Brittany. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciated it. I will give you the recording of this too if you want to share it with your team or share it with anyone. And then I look forward to talking on your team call on Thursday.
Yes, I'm so excited. All right, y'all.
Thank you guys, everyone, for jumping on. Have a good night. Thank you, Brittany.
Bye.
Bye.